Hello everyone, and welcome to the Back to the 90s podcast. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Elaine.
Today on our show, we'll be revealing what the top box office films of the 1990s were. Even though there were dozens of great movies that came out in the 90s, the box office tells us which ones had the most tickets sold for that movie. Alright, let's get started. Well, how about we make this podcast a little more interactive? We'll give you 3 movies that came out in that year and guess which one made number 1 in the box office. Ready? Let's start with 1990. We'll pick 3 movies that made top 10 in year 1990. Here's the choices. Pretty Woman, starring Julia Roberts and Richard Gere, Home Alone, starring Macaulay Culkin, and Total Recall, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. In 1990, this comedy had kids all over the world wanting to come up with safety plans. Give up? If you've guessed Home Alone, you're right. Home Alone made top box offices in the United States with $286 million.
This comedy that came out in November of 1990 will surely be a good time to watch with the family over the Christmas holidays.
Alright, let's go to 1991. This one may seem hard to believe, but here's your choices. Disney's Beauty and the Beast, The Silence of the Lambs starring Jodie Foster and Anthony Foster, and Terminator 2 Judgment Day starring, again, Arnold Schwarzenegger. This 1992 film let kids believe their dreams do come true. You are right, the top box office film of 1991 was Disney's Beauty and the Beast with $219 million.
The animated film not only let kids believe that dreams do come true, but it also opened a light to little girls everywhere wanting to be princesses and that true love will always break the spell.
1992. I'm starting to think these box office results might be rigged, but here's your choices. A Few Good Men, starring Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson, Disney's Aladdin, and The Bodyguard, starring Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston. This 1992 will show you the world. Nope, these box offices aren't joking. Aladdin came in with $217 million.
As much as we loved these Disney movies growing up, it's crazy to see that these movies made the most at the box offices. This animated Disney film is about the princess falling in love with a poor street rat rather than finding her own prince.
1993. Now, this gets a little bit more interesting. You ready? The choices are Mrs. Doubtfire, starring Robin Williams, Jurassic Park, starring Sam Neill, and Schindler's List, starring Liam Neeson. This movie in 1992 let us believe what a different world with different creatures would be like. Yep, Jurassic Park, directed by Steven Spielberg, is the top box office film of 1993 with a whopping $402 million.
You know, in school we were always taught about dinosaurs, and this movie shows us about the dinosaurs, but in our world rather than in theirs.
Alright, 1994. Hopefully you guys have guessed by now which one will be the top box office film. So, here's your choices. Pulp Fiction, starring John Travolta, Uma Thurman, and Samuel L. Jackson, Disney's The Lion King, and Forrest Gump, starring Tom Hanks. This movie in 1994 will always remember, long live the king. That's right, The Lion King came in at $423 million at the box office.
Wow, 90s kids took over the box office with all their favorite Disney movies for sure. This animated film takes place in Animal Kingdom where Lion is always king of the jungle.
1995. This one may be a little tricky. Let's see if you can guess it. Here's the choices. Disney's Pocahontas, Seven, starring Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, and Kevin Spacey, and Batman Forever, starring Val Kilmer, Tommy Lee Jones, and Jim Carrey. This 1995 film may have gotten some Americans their favorite heroes and villains. Yes, Batman Forever made the top list at the box office with $184 million.
Probably not the best in ratings, but in this movie, Batman faces new enemies, such as Two-Face and the Riddler, with the help of his sidekick, Robin.
Let's get to 1996. These movies are getting better and better. Ready to guess the top movie of 1996? Here's the choices. Independence Day, starring Will Smith. Mission Impossible, starring Tom Cruise. And Jerry Maguire, also starring Tom Cruise, Cuba Gooding Jr., and Renee Zellweger. This movie made you think that maybe we are not alone. The 1996 movie that came in with $306 million is Independence Day.
I was sure Mission Impossible would have beaten it out. Independence Day is about trying to survive in our world when creatures from another planet invade ours. Really great movie.
1997. Well, this one shouldn't be hard to guess. Are you ready? Here's the choices. Men in Black, starring Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. Good Will Hunting, starring Robin Williams, Matt Damon, and Ben Affleck. And Titanic, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. This movie is based on a true story, but with a love twist added into it. Can't be that hard, huh? Titanic beat out other movies at the box office with $659 million.
It's such a good and sad love story, and also so upsetting real-life history plot about the fatal RMS Titanic.
1998. Oh yes, another good movie from the 1990s. Are you ready to play? Here we go. Armageddon, starring Bruce Willis, Billy Bob Thornton, and Ben Affleck. Saving Private Ryan, starring Tom Hanks and Matt Damon. And Disney's Pixar movie, A Bug's Life. This 1998 film brings you behind enemy lines. If you've guessed Saving Private Ryan, you're right. This war film came out with $216 million.
I've always liked a good war movie, and the plot of the movie is sad but also a nail-biter when Private Ryan's two brothers died at war, and the mission to find him and bring him home is always exciting to watch.
Now, 1999, the last top movie of the decade. There are a lot of good choices. Think you can figure it out? Let's go. The Matrix, starring Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne. The Sixth Sense, starring Bruce Willis and Haley Joel Osment. And Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace, starring Ewan McGregor, Liam Neeson, and Natalie Portman. This 1999 film has definitely formed huge fan groups and definitely a film no one has ever experienced before. It shouldn't have been that hard. Yes, Star Wars made top box office with $475 million.
It's definitely a different type of movie that has never been made before. Star Wars is still going on today and going strong. There's no shocker that this one could not have made the box office top list of 1999.
Well, that's all the time we have for now. Join us next time on our Back to the 90s podcast. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Elaine.
And may the Force be with you.